Intelligent Ramblings with your host, Bill Lofton. Co-hosted by Gary Glenn and William Howington with help from John Cohn.
Good evening. This is Intelligent Ramblings, and I'm Bill Lofton. I'm your host with my co-host and friends, Mr. John Cohn, William Howington, and Gary Glenn, the one and only Mr. Glenn, a world champion, folks. If you didn't know that, he is a world champion. You don't believe that, you can kiss my ass, but that's the way it is. Gary's one of these strong guys, like strong. Now, I ain't talking about he smells bad. Well, sometimes. But he doesn't smell bad all the time, but he is strong all the time.
Strong like bull.
Like bull. Okay. Anyway, we appreciate you being here, and we're excited. We had an election, and there's been no revolution so far. So far we're good. We've all pretty much made our peace with it and decided that we're going to go ahead and back President-elect Trump, and let's see what he's doing. I mean, to be honest with you, some of the stuff he's doing I like. He's doing a lot, but let's go to it. The Intelligent Newscast. If you haven't seen it yet, go to our website, www.intelligentramblings.com. Not that hard to remember. Got all kinds of interesting stuff there, and we got interesting stuff coming up, such as, what do y'all think about intelligent gaming? And
Cool.
intelligent cooking. Oh, by the way, I am a chef. I'm a certified chef de cuisine. So I got my paperwork, so you can't call me saying, well, the guy works at Winn-Dixie and wears a chef hat and thinks himself he's a chef. Bullshit. I'm a real deal. Anyway, so we may be having that coming up. It's in the idea thoughts. If you think that's a good idea, please let us know what you think. Say, hey, Bill, we'd love to see some videos of cooking and gaming. Those are the two things I'm tossing around right now, trying to figure out how to do it and what we want to do, but it will be on our website, so you need to go to intelligentramblings.com. And if you can't remember that, me telling you, look at the bottom of the purple line that's going across. I promise you, if you hang around long enough, get a pencil and piece of paper, you can write that shit down so you can find us. If you can't, you're too dumb to watch the show anyway and go away. All right, here we go. Trump promises to turn Washington upside down. He's being welcomed back anyway. Today, President-elect Trump met with President Biden, and by all what I've heard, seems to have been a very nice day.
It was cordial.
It was very cordial.
Well, that's something that didn't happen the last time the presidency changed hands.
No, it was kind of a carnival. And like I've said many times, the one thing about President Trump that we'll all enjoy is it's like a damn cartoon up in Washington. We don't know what the hell is going to happen next. And the guy says some stuff that you're like, what? But he keeps it interesting. And what he said so far, I'm starting to like. I make no qualms about it. I've had a problem with the previous administration's handling of the border and what they're starting to do. You got Tulsi Gabbard in there as the new intelligence head person of intelligence. He picked a veteran to run the armed services, and people are saying, well, he doesn't have any management experience. He wasn't a general, he was just a soldier. Well, this soldier was in Iraq and Afghanistan. So, Maybe that's what we need in our military. Somebody that's been on the boots on the ground and understands what the guy with the boots on the ground is doing, and not what some fat ass general's doing, sitting up in his office, going, "These go here, these go here." Maybe we need somebody that's been close to it. We'll have to see. But like I said, I'm starting to like some of these guys' picks. Matt, what was his name for Secretary of State? Congressman from, I think, Florida.
Marco
Rubio.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Marco Rubio was going to be a Secretary of State, and there's another congressman he's going to bring in there. Marco Rubio is a governor. He's a congressman, and he's going to be the, I don't remember what he is, but I should have all this shit printed. That's what happens when you get old. You forget stuff that you saw 20 minutes ago. Anyway, what say you about what's going on in Washington right now, Mr. Cohn?
Mr. Cohn says that the picture we have up there is traditional. President Obama did it when President Trump was elected the first time, and President Biden is continuing the tradition after President-elect Trump won this election. And I'm trying to recall, I don't think he did. I don't think President Trump returned the favor when President Biden won the last election in 2020. So
No.
this ceremony didn't happen when President Biden won.
It did not, and I think it was Trump was just being a reckless asshole that he is, and I think he may be a little bit different. He seems to be coming in different. He seems he knows what he's in for the next 4 years. He didn't have a clue when he was president last time, and I think he's had 4 years to think about it, and I think it may be different. I hope so.
Well,
I pray so.
we'll see. And if they don't like the Republican administration, they vote him out. But he will be operating from a position of power that recent presidents have not enjoyed, so, for the most part, and that is the fact that he'll have both houses of Congress
Yeah.
with his party in the majority. The Republicans finally, when they got all the votes counted all across the country and all those little hidey holes that don't count them very quickly, that the Republicans will have a slim majority in both the House and the Senate. But the Senate is not filibuster proof, but it is an edge. And they do have an edge now in the House of Representatives. So pretty much what President Trump sees as legislation, it will probably be passed.
Thank you, Ms. Poe. You're worried about Attorney General Matt Gaetz. That's who I was trying to think of a few minutes ago.
Well, he's not. She's not the only one worried about him. That was a collective gasp from the other side, and I think even some of the Republicans were shaking their heads at that choice. But I mean, he was investigated for some stuff, but was never convicted. So we'll see how he does as Attorney General.
He's certainly going to get investigated now. They're going to have the hounds out hunting him, and they're going to find out if there's anything that he wants hidden.
Oh yeah, and we'll see what the Senate has to say about all of that.
William, are you alive, or is that some kind of somebody you got just posted up in your spot?
I got a blow up doll here with me. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what he does. I think we need to do something about the border pretty quick, and I'm looking forward to see whether or not he stops the war in the Middle East and Ukraine.
Well, he's already.
He said he'd do that on day one.
Was it day one after he was president-elect, or was it day one when he was presidente?
Well, I think he said he could get something started before he ever was sworn in. So we'll see.
Well,
Which up to a certain point is okay, but after a certain point, it's illegal. You can't do foreign affairs negotiate with parties in a war unless you're part of the United States government. And he is not until he's inaugurated. So he can go only up to a certain point, and after that, he's in legal territory that's not good.
Well, they can call his buddy Putin and say, hey, this shit needs to end now. Make me look good, dude. Even before I'm president. Stop. Back up, get out.
And what do you think Putin's response would be to him saying that?
Probably laughing.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Well, he needs to at least keep the North Koreans out of it.
Well, they're already in it.
They're in it.
Get them out
They've
of
been
it.
fighting.
That's on the
They've been
next topic. we're
Again,
gonna get
any
to.
suggestions about how to get the North Koreans out of Ukraine? Short of, in battle, they're not going to withdraw them. Certainly not if Zelensky or Biden ask them to, even if they ask really nicely.
Well, as long as we're talking about it, there's a Ukrainian motorized vehicle. Looks like a pretty nasty one. Ukraine is fighting 50,000 troops in Russia's Kursk region right now. That's what Zelensky said. 50,000. And of those 50,000, whatever came over from North Korea is amongst them. They're fighting. I mean, they're fixing to come in from the Kursk region and start a whole new front. And right now, it's either shit or get off the pot there, guys, because if we can't stop this, then they're going to bring 100,000 North Koreans. And they're going to bring 200,000 North Koreans.
And then we'll be in it.
And then we'll be in it. That's the last thing I want to happen. I care dearly what happens in Ukraine, but,
Yeah.
I don't want our people in it.
No. So
Well, we can send in fighters and drop a few bombs on that 50,000.
Well, shout out to the guys out in the audience. You guys got anything to say? What do you think? We ought to be putting boots on the ground in Ukraine, or should we not?
I vote no.
I'm a no.
I think we could use our heads and help out way more than we have up to this point. You've heard me say it before. If we had a no-fly zone in Ukraine, we wouldn't have to have any boots on the ground. We would have assets like fighters and pilots in it, which is what we did in Eastern Europe
Well, if you
in the 90s.
if you start a no-fly zone, all that's going to do is piss off Putin,
Great.
and we're going to get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our fighters
We're going to
get
get
shot
involved sooner or later. So do you want to do it on their terms or your terms?
down. I don't want to be on any terms. I don't want to be there. I don't.
I hate it, but I think it's gonna come to us if we don't go to it.
That's very
Yeah.
true.
We need to stop them somehow.
Hell, we
I
got
don't know
one
what it
vote from
takes.
Mr. Johnson. Nice to see you
Y'all's
again.
here.
Our favorite person to pick on is here, live with us, Jay Johnson. Absolutely not. I'm absolutely in agreement with you. We finally found some common turf.
Well, I say fighters get ready, because if you start a no-fly zone, then you got to protect that no-fly zone.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's the whole point. Anyway,
I've got a son-in-law that flies a fighter, and I really don't want him going, but it's the only way we can stop him from coming in to Ukraine. Then we'll have to.
Andrea, I don't think that Ukraine is ever in this lifetime going to give up 1 inch of their territory. And if people would read their history books and see how the Ukrainian people were treated by the Russians around World War II time, it was not a good situation. Basically, they were slave labor, and they were like I don't know how you'd say it, but they weren't treated well.
No.
No, they're not going to give up any land. He's already said we will not give up 1 inch of our territory. 1 inch. Maybe that's.
Well, the
Go ahead,
Russians
Gary.
are there in the first place. The Russians are there in the first place because the Ukraine's very rich in minerals and strategic position and all of that stuff. It's all about money or power and money, which sometimes equates to the very same thing.
Well, Ukraine was like the
I
third
could see
largest
us putting-
exporter on the planet.
I could see us putting pressure on Ukraine to accept that the territory that the Russians took over in 2014, they lose that. But they keep Crimea and the country as it exists right now, where the lines are right now, that becomes the new, smaller Ukraine. I can see them doing, the United States putting pressure on Ukraine diplomatically to go that way. Whether Russia would agree to it or Ukraine would agree to it, who knows?
Well, if they just quit shooting one another, we could go over there and build them a few hotels and some 7-Elevens, and everybody be making money.
Oh yeah. Some Dollar Generals.
Yeah.
Well, the president of France is jumping on the bandwagon. He said we must do more than just keep Ukraine in a fight. We need to raise the cost for Putin and his enabling authoritarian friends by providing Ukraine with the support it needs to change the trajectory of the conflict. Russia, working together with North Korea, Iran, and China, is not only threatening Europe, but also the Indo-Pacific and North America. So we must stand together. And that's the French President Emmanuel Macron route.
Well, Europe is, although that was a long time ago now, Europe's collective memory is still pretty good on all those entangling alliances that led to 2 world wars over there. I think that's their main concern right now, is not to get sucked into some conflict that's just going to keep escalating. But, if we do nothing, it's going to escalate anyway. So, already has. Here come the North Koreans. Who'd have thought that? Politics makes strange bedfellows, as they say. We saw that today in Washington with 2 men who just despised each other a few months ago were sitting down shaking hands and talking for 2 hours. But in terms of warfare, it even stranger bedfellows.
I
Well,
wonder,
listen,
and I don't know this. How big is North Korea's standing army?
Big.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's the kind of country where you're either in the army or you're
A slave.
a means of production. Yeah, exactly. You're either on a farm somewhere or in a factory somewhere.
A slave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Fat Boy just sits up in his office and grins all the time. Don't you love the way he grins? Piece of shit. Anybody would
Dude
do
is
that to
wealthy.
your-
You'd think he could find somebody who could give him a decent haircut. I mean, it looks like I don't know. It's a bad haircut.
It's a bad haircut. No doubt about that.
Trademark.
Maybe he likes it that way.
there's no accounting for taste.
Well, talking about
Ain't that the
construction,
truth?
Israelis, West Bank settlers hope Trump's return will pave the way for a major settlement expansion. Now, if you guys will recall, I said way back, what's going to happen here is Israel is going to take a dead gum bulldozer and push its boundaries out. After it's going to level Gaza, and then it's going to push it all over, push it into the desert, and start building new cities. And they're already building. This is from Palestine. New construction going up by the Israelis. And they're hoping that Trump's going to jump on the bandwagon and spearhead it. Because Trump is a definite Israeli backer. Or he was in the past, anyway. Now, can we go, wait a minute. Before we go to that, can we go back real fast to Mr. Trump? What do you think about this new department, which is not going to be part of the government, called the Department of Efficiency?
The Department of Government Efficiency.
Yes. Run by
Not a cabinet.
by
Elon
Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yes. That's
Oh my
exciting
God. Well,
to me.
Bill, here's the answer. Here's what I think. Here's what I think it is. I think it's a department they created just to park those two people somewhere and give them a desk and something to do for 4 years.
I'm hoping it's a slash and burn. Because our government
You
is
are?
bloated. It's bloated. There's too many people in it. We need to cut our government in half. I'm 100% for that.
And so
yeah.
these two folks are then eminently qualified to do the cutting and the slashing. Are they the best two for the job?
Well, Elon Musk got an IQ of about 160. So he's pretty damn smart. Oh, yeah, he's the richest
smart.
person on the planet. And so he ain't worried about losing money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that would be a very good person to do it because it's very complicated. You know, and if he's able to slash and burn and cut our deficit down, which is off the chart, let him have it. Let him do it. I mean, basically, they're going to be suggesting things. They can't do anything because it's not an actual department of the government, which is good because it's not a part of the government.
I agree. That's a good thing.
I'm excited about that.
Well,
I want to shout out to all our Latino friends real fast, and I'll let you talk, Garrick. I got things running in my head real fast, and if I don't say it, I forget it. Shout out to our Latino friends. Dudes, keep your damn ID with you all the time. Keep your driver's license with you all the time. Keep your papers with you all the time because there's going to be some sweeping coming up. So you need to get ready for it. All right, Gary, go.
I was just going to say, we all heard those horror stories of the, $500 toilet seats or whatever. And I see waste in our school system every day. I mean, we throw away enough food to feed the third world. We really do. And I know what the deal is, well, we need to let them be eating more healthy. Well, fine. But if they won't eat it, what good does that do? Right?
Yep.
All that is more garbage to be thrown away. We in this country, we throw away enough food every day to feed the third world. And they're over there scrounging in dumpsters. And great, find the kids. Why don't you make it like a buffet? Let them pick what they want to eat, and then find out what they're going to eat. Give them healthy choices, but give them some stuff that tastes good.
I'll tell you a good way to get rid of it is call your local missions, your local chapters of people where they go when they're hungry, and say every afternoon at 1 o'clock, send somebody in a truck and we'll pack this stuff up and put it on your truck and they can take it out. You know what I used to do when I was the chef at a country club? I would call a mission. I would call a homeless shelter. I would call a ladies' home where people go to hide from their crazy-ass husbands all the time. I did this on a regular basis my entire career. I would call them and say, listen, I'm going to have a bunch of food left. Come get it.
And that used to be a thing in Atlanta. It was called Atlanta's Table. I don't know if they still do any of that anymore. But what I'm talking about is you'll serve these kids food, Bill, and it's not left at the table. They take it and throw it away. They put it straight in the garbage can. They'll eat a bite of an apple, one, and throw it away. I mean, why even bother? My point is that this kind of waste goes on all across the country, not only in the schools, but everywhere else, because they can. Because they know that they think that there's this bottomless barrel of money that we could just keep picking and picking and picking, and it doesn't matter what we do because we're never going to run out of money.
We're running out. Hell, we run out.
Are.
We've got a deficit. We've run out. We have a deficit in the trillions.
Right, and you realize what $1 trillion looks like, okay? First of all, $1 trillion is 1,000 billion. Did you hear what I said? 1,000 billion. That's $1 trillion. If you took $100 bills and put them on a football field and covered the entire football field with $100 bills stacked 9 feet high, that's what $1 trillion would look like. And if you tried to count those bills one at a time, you could get through, if you went really fast, in about 32,000 years. But we toss these numbers around like they don't mean anything, because so far they haven't. But someday somebody's going to have to pay. And if you could get Elon Musk and Ramaswamy in there and they can help cut into some of that, God bless them. Go to it. They're going to find the sledding kind of tough, though, because everybody's got their pet projects. And it's all right as long as my ox isn't getting bored or you're not building shit in my backyard.
Absolutely, Gary.
Have at
100%.
it, I say. Have at it.
Yeah, Opie, slash and burn. I mean, I really do. And good luck to them. And if I could help in any way, I'd love to.
So, what is it that exactly that is concerning to you guys about the fact that we have a deficit? Because we have had a deficit, and we've had two things. There's the national debt, which accrues over time as you have deficits each year. And this is not new news.
No.
And it's not, at the moment, it's not especially out of line. It's great campaign material, but the facts are it's manageable. It's not, it's not something we have not seen before.
Well, what if, John, let me ask you. Maybe you explain it to me but a little bit better. What if China comes calling and says, I want my money? All of it. Today, that you owe me. What happens?
Well, here's what I would assume you're talking about is that China owns a significant amount of U.S. Treasury bills and notes. And so basically,
You got 30 seconds, John.
these notes are sold under a contract, and the contract says in 5 years, 10 years, we'll pay you back your principal amount plus interest. And China can't call this debt. We can pay it back under contract, which we do, but it's not like something they can walk in and demand.
Okay.
It just doesn't work that way.
All right, John, maybe you can give us a better explanation next week. But right now we've got pay some bills, and then we'll be back shortly for college football. Thank you for being here, guys. Hang out.
Yo.
Excuse me.
Oh, here we go. Well, we all swap places. How about that? That's kind of neat. We're
Yeah.
here for intelligent college football. And
Does this
we're glad-
layout kind of remind y'all of the Brady Bunch? Sorry, Bill.
Marsha.
Well, we've been getting some seriously weird football games and scores and whatnot. And before we get to the one that affects us the most, we'll get to that in just a second. But why don't we just start with some picks, guys, and we'll talk our way through it.
Sounds good.
Number 1, Oregon at Wisconsin. Oregon is basically unbeatable right now, and they're playing a team that's very beatable. So, not a lot of discussion about this, I don't think.
No. I think the two top teams in the polls are definitely right now should be considered the two top teams in the country.
Agreed.
Right.
In fact,
We've all got
if
the Ducks.
Of Ohio State. Ohio State's quarterback had that brain fart at the end where he kind of forgot how much time it was. You might have these two teams reversed.
I would agree with that.
They're definitely the two. They're the class of college football right now.
Well, Wisconsin's 5-4, and Oregon hadn't got nobody's gotten close to Oregon except Ohio State. So I think
And after this weekend, Wisconsin will be 5-5.
yes.
You never know. They're playing at home, and they're not that bad. You just never can tell with these games.
Well, this is true because you're still dealing with people who are young, a lot of other crap on their minds. I mean, every level that you go down in age, you find more distractions. I mean, look at high school football. We all, we go to these high school football games. And William, you go to a lot. I go to a lot, and you guys could. And now they're on television all the time. High school football on television all the time. You guys you're all old as hell like me, and back in the day, you were lucky if you got your college football team on television twice a year. I mean, you if you got 2 or 3 times, you were in high cotton, and we had a lot more radio coverage and things like that. Well, now you got high school teams on, and we look at these games and we all expect them because they're on television, and we've seen so much other football. We all think that every quarterback needs to be Patrick Mahomes, and every wide receiver needs to be Travis Kelce or a tight end or somebody who can catch the ball like that, like these Super Bowl champions that we are. But they're not. They're just kids in a lot of times. And we tend to forget that. So, William, I think your point's well taken. On any given Saturday.
On any given Saturday. The only team that's beaten Wisconsin that's not a good team, like Penn State's beating them, and a couple other the top teams have beaten them, was Iowa. Put it on them pretty good, 42-10 last week. But we're talking about the class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll move
Ohio
on down,
State.
and there's the other state. There's the other class.
Well, Northwestern hadn't hadn't really beaten anybody. They beaten Purdue and beaten Eastern Illinois. And that's it.
Well, there you go. You're right.
I'm sure this will be a slaughter.
Oh, they beat Miami of Ohio too. But
Golly gee.
they've got Ohio State, Michigan, and Illinois left on the schedule. So rough year, Northwestern. See you next year.
Yeah.
Texas and Arkansas. Arkansas slipped up and beat Tennessee. But I don't think they're going to be able to slip up and beat Texas.
No,
Yeah, but they're at home.
That's true. I don't think it matters that much. Texas is real.
Yeah, no, we
They-
wonder how Georgia beat them. They beat them because they were playing better.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we're all going for Texas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Penn State at Purdue. Once again, another what we would call a mismatch.
But Purdue doesn't score very much, though, so that's kind of concerning. And Purdue's played some good teams. And they're at home, so you never know.
Well, they beat, so far, they've beaten Indiana State this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's their one win. They got beat by Oregon, Notre Dame, Oregon State, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Illinois. They didn't even score on Oregon. Northwestern beat Purdue. And we just remarked how terrible they were. They didn't score on Ohio State. Yeah, this is going to be a... Penn State doesn't score a lot, but they're going to score 21 on Purdue.
Okay. I picked Penn State.
Yeah. We all did.
Yep, we all did.
Big one at 7:30 on Saturday night. The Tennessee Volunteers against the University of Georgia. Now, I will remark that last week's loss to Ole Miss was possibly the low point of Georgia football in the last 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. With this caveat, Mississippi's pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good, but
Yeah.
But Georgia has not played well for 2 games.
we were still in it until the third quarter.
Yeah.
And-
They looked lackluster on offense, and their defense just got shredded. And if
Our
Mississippi
offensive line got shredded.
well, if Mississippi hadn't been forced to kick field goals, it really would have been stomped. I mean, they were in it because inside the red zone that Georgia tightened up. But you can't keep giving people points. I mean, those 3 points after a while start adding up, don't they? And they did.
Well,
Yeah,
they
for
were-
Georgia to score only 10 points, that didn't look good. And there were, you could pick a spot in the game and there was, you couldn't put 2 or 3 plays together that looked good. They broke down, they didn't execute. I was watching something today, which has been on social media also. Play in the second quarter. This particular play, this is something Georgia likes to do every once in a while. It's a running play. All the offensive linemen take one step to the left and then start upfield on their blocks. And Ole Miss saw that coming. They've been researching Georgia for a year, getting ready for this game, and
Yeah, I heard Lane,
they saw
I heard
it
Lane
coming.
Kiffin say that.
And what that does is it creates a natural gap. They had 3 defensive linemen in the backfield to meet Cash Jones within a half a step of Georgia leaning that way. And it was everybody. It was left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. All take one step into your gap to the left, and you just open up a gap for all 3 of the down linemen. And they just ate it up. And stuff like that went on the whole game.
5 quarterback sacks.
Yeah. I mean, they're great.
5.
Ole Miss is a great team, and yeah, I hear you, Lane Kiffin. You should be undefeated right now. I mean, what the heck was wrong with y'all? You showed up ready to play, prepared, peaked at the right time. If the problems that Georgia has right now aren't easily fixable. They got big problems with the wide receivers. They got big problems in the offensive line. They got big problems in the defensive backfield. They're going to fix those things before the end of the season. Georgia, they stand to lose another game somewhere between Tennessee, University of Massachusetts, probably not, and Georgia Tech. I don't know. I picked Georgia for this game. I think Georgia's going to. I picked Georgia to beat Tennessee, but I reserve the right to change my mind because, they can't fix the stuff that's wrong right now. That's the sad news.
They don't have any running backs. You're talking about Cash Jones running the ball. He
Right,
shouldn't even be on the field.
He's number 4 running back.
They got a freshman running back, and they've got Etienne, and he's hurt and not running like he should, and he's not getting the blocks. Neither Robinson's going to come back, it doesn't look like. And they just have a problem there at running back. They've only got 3 running backs, and 2 of them are, how should you say, not even supposed to be on the field.
I saw there were 2 plays where Lawson Lucky was standing by himself in the end zone. We can go back and find him. I mean, just wide open. We quit throwing to the tight ends for some reason. And those guys are getting open. They're not getting open on a slant on anything behind the linebackers. They're going back behind the safety and getting open. Anyway.
Well, I would like to fault Carson Beck more, but I won't, because 3 times he hit a receiver in the chest with the ball, and it would have been a first down, and they dropped it.
Yeah.
Now, there were more incomplete passes, but 3 times I remember distinctly on 3rd down that he hit the receiver in the hands with the ball, and they dropped it.
4 drops during the game.
It was like,
really? You mentioned 5 quarterback sacks. It's kind of hard to complete anything when you're laying on your back.
Yep.
Oh, he's running for his life the whole game. I mean, so you cannot fault Carson Beck for that loss. I mean,
he played better this game than he did
he
the
played
previous
better.
2.
I mean, the
Even
previous
with
2 games, he went from being, or this season, he went from being a top 5 draft pick to they may pick him in the 4th round.
I don't even think they'll pick him then.
I mean, he is completely broken down. But you're right, John. He definitely was better last week. But he did throw an interception.
Yeah, at the end.
He did throw an interception.
I will say that ball got tipped. It didn't end up where he intended it to go.
Well, we're all going to pick Georgia because I think that they play pretty well with their backs against the wall, and they know for sure that a 3-loss team is not getting into the top 12.
No.
Yeah.
And we need a big win with a team like Tennessee to jump us back up to about 8.
Yeah.
I mean, we still got to think about Tech. They're for real. I watched the whole Tech game against Miami. And by the way, John, y'all need to go back and look at the film if you want to. But I asked, is that Tech quarterback hurt? Does anybody know? And you went, yes, he's still hurt. Damn you, John Cone. I would have changed my damn.
Oh, your pick from last week?
Yeah, I would
He
have
was
picked.
hurt. During the week, last week, they still had him as questionable.
He
Like
didn't
the
look
night that we were on, he wasn't ready to go.
He looked pretty non-questionable Saturday,
Dang right he did.
and I would.
Sorry
picked
about
him.
that. But,
I would have picked
Those
him.
those
So,
miraculous comebacks.
well, wasn't really a comeback. Tech went after him and did not come back.
Well, I'm
Miami's-
thinking about your quarterback there coming back from an injury all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, cost me a pick.
Does the ACC have the same rules about reporting injuries that the SEC does? I don't know if they do or not. I'm just asking
I
if
have
anybody
no
knows.
idea.
I have
Like-
no idea.
I don't know.
No idea.
The SEC, they have to report injuries at some point during the week before the game. And I'm wondering if the ACC has the same rule. Maybe not.
Wonder if the SEC does that to aid the gamblers.
What?
Kansas.
People gamble on college football?
Kansas add number 7 BYU.
I think we all picked BYU on that one because I think they're playing pretty well right now.
Yeah, they are.
Now you can't count the Jayhawks out though.
Yeah, well, the Jayhawks are 3-6, and they're playing BYU, who is 9-0, and I've seen them play. They're real. They deserve to be 7. And BYU has won the national championship.
Yeah.
Well, right now they're one of the top 4 in the.
They beat Utah last week, and Utah has a good football team.
Yeah. So we're all BYU.
Yeah, we're all BYU.
Notre Dame. Home game against Virginia. Virginia's not nothing to laugh about, but
Yeah, you got the Irish at home, touchdown Jesus, the whole bit. I think we picked Notre Dame there.
yeah, Virginia's
Yeah.
5-4, so and Notre Dame's they've only lost one game, right?
Off to Northern Illinois.
That's weird. And the kicker is Northern Illinois lost like 4 in a row in their damn own crappy conference after taking out Notre Dame. How does that make any sense?
Well, it was early in the year, so Notre Dame just wasn't prepared. They were expecting to win that game hands over fist, and they didn't.
They didn't. No doubt. Mercer Bears taking on Alabama.
Oh,
At
God.
Alabama. This is one of those name your scores.
Yeah, well, that'll be a payday for the Bears. Is all I can say. and Alabama has started looking more like Alabama. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this one will be like you say. This will be time to go get Adam Sandler. Let him suit up for Alabama.
Yep, they'll score 60, I'm sure.
Yeah. Or they could if they don't.
No, they will. I don't think this guy likes to. He tried to run it up on Georgia, and of course he needed to because Georgia came back and went ahead. But he'll run it up.
Well, the hardest part about this was trying to find the damn icon for Mercer Bears.
The graphics for this are really good,
Thank you, John.
Bill,
Thanks a lot.
Do good job,
for
Bill.
our college football segment.
Thank
They
you.
work
Thank
great.
you. Boise State at San Jose State. I think we're going to say Boise State's only lost to BYU.
Who, as we already said, is undefeated and pretty good. Yeah, let's go with the blue. Let's go with the Blue Broncos here.
Yeah, I think.
Agreed. I think that's a safe bet.
I think Boise State will win too, but like you say, you can't ever tell. I hope they win.
I believe Boise State ought to do it, and I think San Jose State's. I'm not even sure what conference they're in. Well, they're in their conference.
Are they an
6 and
FCS team?
Yeah, they're Mountain West Conference along with Boise State. San Jose State has. Let's see if they've knocked off anybody strong. They beat Kennesaw State, we've heard of, 31-10. Beat Nevada, beat Colorado, nope, beat Wyoming, beat Oregon State. Might be a little, give them a good game, but I just think Boise State is not only a good team, they're, top team in their conference. At 8-1, the only thing they've lost to is they lost to Oregon. So that's the only team to beat Boise State's the number one team in the country. So that kind of say a little bit about them. SMU at Boston College. SMU is another one of those schools that's having a banner year and doing it in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah, and I heard some of the commentators talking about SMU. They're kind of liking the ponies there.
They're the ones that only. Go ahead.
I think we're picking SMU. Don't we all pick SMU in this one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, only loss SMU's had is to BYU, so they're pretty good company. They beaten Louisville. They beaten Duke, although it was by 1 point. They beat Pitt. The only thing they got left on their schedule after this is Virginia and California. So we can pretty well count on SMU going to the ACC championship.
Yeah, and if they win that one, they'll have a spot in the playoffs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Possibly ahead of Georgia.
Possibly.
New Mexico State at Texas A&M. Now that's going to be at their home stadium, and you know what it's like playing there.
Yeah, that 12th man will get after him.
Plus, all these SEC schools that think they've got a shot know they've basically got to run the table to get into the postseason.
Texas A&M only has one loss in the SEC, right?
Yeah.
But they got Texas left to go.
Mm-hmm.
So they're definitely not. They shouldn't have a letdown here. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, New Mexico State is 10th in Conference USA. 10th in a mediocre conference. So I don't think that's going to be much of a game. A lot of these, I don't think it's going to be much of a games. Clemson Tigers.
This might be a good game.
At Pittsburgh. This is going to be a good game. They're both not at the top of their game, but both of them are close.
Yeah, I'm still going to. I'm going to go with Clemson, even though Pittsburgh is a tempting pick here because they are at home. And Pittsburgh always been a pretty good team.
Well, they're both 7-2, so they both have lost when they weren't supposed to. I mean, the Louisville loss from Clemson just blows my mind. I just still what the hell was going on, you know. Glad I didn't watch it, because they must have really played bad. Utah at number 18, Colorado. Mr. Dion's Buffaloes. I think Colorado's got it going on now. And,
and they're at home. Although their coach is probably making more money from all of his extracurricular stuff than he is from coaching.
Oh yeah.
Man, every time I turn around, Dion's got some other project going on. All those commercials and that other stuff he's doing.
Aflac.
Something else he's doing too. Some kind of special or some kind of streaming thing. One of the streaming services. He's got a lot of irons in the fire. Let's put it that way. But since they are at home, and this is sort of a neighboring state kind of rivalry thing, I'm gonna pick Colorado. It wouldn't surprise me if Utah were to win, but I'm gonna pick Colorado.
well, Colorado ain't lost but 2.
I picked Utah, even though they've lost some. They've lost some freaky games that they should have won. They should have won last week, but didn't.
Yeah, we've all got Colorado. William's got Utah. And I hear you, William. They could surprise Colorado.
Yeah.
Utah's
agree.
not a bad football team. We used to have a coach who would say they were halfway decent.
Well, they've lost some good people, so that's one thing in their favor.
LSU at Florida. Number 21, LSU at Florida. Well, Florida sucks. LSU, decent team. They're going to run all over Florida, at Florida. Ain't much of a game. But on any given Saturday.
Yeah, Florida gave us all we wanted during the first half.
Well, that's
Yes,
right.
they did, and they played decent football last weekend.
They got their quarterback back, or their number 2 quarterback.
Well,
I didn't think we'd see him again this year.
Like you say, the talent level of the SEC is top to bottom is pretty good, and if they play the best game they've played, and LSU has an off day, that's why I upset that.
They have to have a really off day.
Yeah.
They would.
Well, they've had 3 off days so far this year. But Florida's had 5 off days, so.
Yeah. All right.
College football weekly predictions, week 11. That's last week. Gary went 11-14. William went 11-14. John went 11-14. I went 10 for 14. Damn, it dropped from 79 to 71. Who did the math on that?
The spreadsheet.
Well, and this is where we are up to now. Gary at 74%. Bill, that's me, at 74%. Mr. John at 73%. And William at 69%. You're coming back, William, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
About to get back above water, above sea level.
You got a good shot. If Utah wins, that will drop us all 1 and you 1 up. Or you'll be 67% next week.
Well, good. Maybe I'll be 70%. I want to say right now, while I got a minute, to everybody to put out the prayers for running back from Gainesville High School, Carmelo Bird. He was involved in a head-on collision Monday morning.
Wow.
And he's in the hospital in serious condition. And Gainesville plays Friday night in Sequoia, one of those schools. Right. And Bird was the best player on the team pretty much. So they're going to have to dig deep, and we need to pray for this young man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, he's not in any danger of dying or anything like that, I don't think. But he's obviously done for the year in football, and his future in football is contingent on how well they can fix him up and how well the rehab goes. So yeah, prayers for him.
Is he in the hospital in Gainesville?
Yeah.
Just happened.
What's his name again?
Carmela Bird.
Carmela Bird. Prayers for Carmela Bird. We take a quick break and we'll be back with our follow-up. Crowd
Well,
screams for.
hello.
That's the crowd screaming because we're back.
All right.
Well, another week of intelligent ramblings. Like I said in the beginning of the show, see that little purple line? It's still going across. Go to our website, check us out. It'll lead you to everything. It will lead you out to what you need to see. And it's an ongoing project. We're going to be adding to it from time to time. I want to thank everybody that was nice enough to join us this evening. And especially want to thank the remarkers that gave us their opinion. And we always want people to say what you feel. We may be smart old guys, but we're not the smartest old guys. So, with that, guys.
Well,
Good luck Saturday.
Yeah. I get to showcase two different parts of my personality in the next few days. Tomorrow we have our second wrestling match of the season, and I've been having to do it. Talk about prayers. I'm the assistant to Coach Carl Cole, and he and his wife have had to be in Mississippi all week because his father-in-law, his wife Sarah's dad, is not in good shape at all. Could be any time now. So I'll take him over there by myself. We'll see what happens in Gainesville. And on Sunday, I get to bring the message to my home church at McEver Road United Methodist. And if you're in the neighborhood, drop in, or you can get it online and see it live.
See it live.
McEver Road United Methodist Church. And just click on the website, and we'll have a listen live link. And you can see the service. So wish me luck both ways, both days.
Both ways and both days. Good luck.
Both ways, both days. Yep.
Good luck.
I got to referee a tri match tomorrow at Pickens County, Johnson, and Sprayberry. So Gary's old school, where he was the head coach at, is going to be there.
Yeah, and one of my wrestlers from that era is now the head coach at Johnson. Talk about a full circle moment, huh?
No doubt. Guys, enjoyed it. Guess we'll be seeing you guys next week.
Next week.
Good night, all.
Have a good one. Be safe.
Night.